I've heard it before, the best fishing spot you could possibly find is the one closest to where you live that you can catch fish at. Now, I'm a firm believer in that, but I fell into that trap for a long time and it killed me. Growing up, I fished the exact same body of water my entire life and basically never fished anywhere else. Now, if you've watched my video over the past year, I've been doing a ton of exploring through Florida, and it's been an amazing renaissance for me. The problem is it's not always the most successful trips because I don't know these spots and I don't have them dialed in like I do my fisheries at home. If you just are able to get out maybe once a week or maybe a few times a month, the best spot you can fish is the one that's going to allow you to fish the most, and that's probably the one closest to your house. But for me, I've opened up a new page in the book of exploring throughout Florida and finding all these new fisheries, and I'm just like so excited to be digging in deeper and finding more places to fish. Absolutely beautiful morning, which is a nice change of pace after getting pissed on for the last time I came out for a whole entire day. It's just like light breeze, beautiful winter morning in Florida. If you can call it winter, it's like 80 degrees outside, but we're gonna start off throwing top water and see if we can make it happen. Oh, there's a fish. Ooh, finally. Into one this morning. Little troutski. Oh, shaking off both sides. It's all right. First fish out of the way in the morning. I've been kind of like weirdly loving fishing for trout lately. I think part of the mystique for them right now is that I just genuinely haven't caught a ton of big trout, and so there's like that idea of chasing something in the back of my head where I've caught a lot of big snook. I've caught like a really big red. I still want to do a lot more stuff on reds, but trout is something that I haven't caught a ton of like really sizable ones, and so just that aspect of like chasing after a big fish and getting like a mark size big fish, like it fires me up. There's the fish. Oh gosh, mega ladyfish, holy crap. Hopefully they just shake off. They're such an absurd fish to me. I think they would be like a highly sought after game fish if they even got 2 pounds bigger than they do. You know, they have a sickle tail like a bonefish and jump like a tarpon, but they just don't get very big, you know? There it is. Oh. That makes perfect sense of what that's about. I think at some point you need to kind of accept the fact that if you're not getting the results you want, you're probably not doing something right. I think there's rare occasions where it is chalked up to the fish just aren't biting that well, but that's a very rare occasion. I think the majority of the time is you're just not throwing or doing what the fish want to bite. And so we're gonna have to change things up here because I've caught a small trout and some ladyfish and a tiny snook. It's not terrible, but it's not what I'm wanting to accomplish today. So we are gonna pull the trolling motor up, make a move, and kind of switch the flip on how we're fishing and see if we can change our luck here. You know, I think there is a lot of instances where you need to just put your head down and grind and throw and throw and throw, and eventually that bite will come. But to me, that is more saved for if you were throwing like big swim baits or flare hawks or throwing a big topwater, like really searching out a big fish. Yeah, sometimes you need to make a 5,000 cast before you get that big fish. But when we're throwing artificial shrimp and small swim baits, we're looking to pick our way through a bunch of fish and then hopefully find a big one while we're picking through all these smaller fish and medium-sized fish. And the fact that we're not finding those fish says that something's up, so we need to make a change. Oh my God. All right, we have changed gears once again. I've been kind of flopping all over the place. Caught a few small snook, but just nothing I've been really like overly stoked about. So now we're fishing a huge, giant windy point that's pretty deep, and we're gonna try to fish this pretty slow and see if we can find maybe a redfish or trout or some drum, like some black drum or something, holding down these deeper channels here. We're like fishing like 6 feet, and then there's a channel edge and it drops into 13, and then there's big shale coming off the front side. So it's an interesting spot for sure. And if we can oh my gosh, the blue heron in front of me just sniped the mullet. If we can you know, find one good fish, I'll be happy with today. I've just like been super dissatisfied so far. I've caught a bunch of fish. I don't even know how much I'm gonna put in the video, but you know, I've caught a bunch of fish, but it's just nothing has been big, or at least even what I would be happy with, you know. There's the fish. What do we got? What do we got? Sweet. All right. I have no idea what we're hooked into, but it feels good to be hooked into something. Son of a gun. Never mind. I'm like dragging us across the bottom. How's that work? I'm actually fishing something a little goofy right here. I'm throwing a Ned rig, which, if you've never heard of a Ned rig, it's actually a bass fishing tactic, really used for smallmouth, largemouth as well, but mainly like used up north a lot more. And it's just a tiny little profile that happens to, this is supposed to resemble like a little crawfish, but I think the color pattern is perfect for a shrimp, and they're meant for fishing things just like this, like little rocky outcroppings, and they're really great little river baits. But this rocky outcropping, I think it will be perfect for it. I've already caught that little jack on it, and it's just gonna bounce around these rocks real nicely, and hopefully we'll find maybe a drum or something holding up inside here. There's the fish. Ooh, snook on the Ned rig. Come on now. Oh crap, there's some dolphins around here. I might need to try to get this guy in. Okay, he threw it. It's honestly better. Dang, that was like a 25, 26 inch snook on the Ned rig. Holy cow, he choked it. Unreal. That's just cool to see that it works, man. Oh man, look how much he frayed that. I'm gonna have to trim it up. All right, we've retied after that snook frayed us up real good. I'm pretty stoked on the Ned rig working. I had faith that it would, but I mean, that's cool, man. There's another fish right there. That's decent. Oh man, dude, we might have just figured something out. This Ned rig is actually pretty killer. This feels like just a jack ball maybe, but it's cool that this is working. It's so fun fishing this light line like this and fishing deep. All right, we have retied here after being frayed off, and I had to retie after that jack as well. My leader got super short, so I just needed to redo the whole thing. What we're doing right now, I would say, is probably one of my weakest points in fishing. I am not good at fishing deep water. I excel at sight fishing and fishing structure and mangrove lines and docks and bridges. This is something I don't do a ton of. Now, when I was in Australia, when I was in Australia, the multiple times that I've gotten to fish there, I fished with just an absolute legend, a guy named Joel Edwards. And the way they fish for mulloway, which you've probably heard me talk about them before, they're in the drum family. They just get huge and they look like a monster sea trout. And the way he fishes for them is 95% like through marking and looking at the sonar and finding really deep holes and marking fish in those holes and trying to just locate them and find them and cast onto them, which is something I don't ever do. all of my fishing is just based off of like visually what I'm seeing, thinking, okay, there's a nice sandbar here, or that's a nice piece of structure, like just what I can see on the surface level. And to be fairly honest, I don't have that nice of a sonar unit in my boat. Like I don't have side scan or anything like that, so I rarely use it. But it kind of blew my mind because that's all they do over there, and he catches just monster fish. And when we were over there, when I was over there, we were fishing a spot, ooh, there's a bite right there, a spot that kind of reminds me of this, where we're fishing this giant river and there's brush on all sides of it. And imagine like you're fishing a river just like this, but instead there's enormous mountains that climb up into the background. Like it's insanely beautiful. But we're fishing this big giant mangrove point and just sitting there and bombing casts and just boom, boom, bouncing up and down, and we never ever moved spots. We stayed in the same spot the whole entire day because he was just like, I've marked it before, I know how it works. This is a giant eddy, and we're fishing on a big drop off, and the current came around a point like this, and he's like, the big fish might not be here right now, but eventually good fish are going to swim up on top of this bar. And he ended up hooking a huge fish that ended up breaking off. But it's something that I don't understand well, and I really want to learn better, is fishing deep and really using your electronics to your advantage. Oh no, damn, that was such a good eat, and it was sitting dead on the bottom too. I'm gonna fish this so unbelievably painfully slow in case there's any black drum around here. Something ate it right at the point. A little snook again, through it. Lots of little snook off this point here. Very cool. Oh my gosh, something hit it again. Like the snook dropped it, I let it sink back down. Something picked it up on the drop. I cannot believe how well this is getting eaten. I mean, it looks just like a little shrimp, so I mean, it makes total sense. But you know, this is a Sakoshi bug, another bait made by Ketchco actually. This is just like working like a dream, baby. There's another fish. What is that? Feels different. It might just be a jack, but oh, I do believe that is a pompano now. Nice. I'm thinking that's what we got on here. Oh man, yeah, pomp. Nice. Hell yes. Oh man, that's a tank. That is a tank. I am stoked on that. That is a pompano on a Ned rig. That is just so freaking cool. The better looking, better tasting cousin of the Jack Crevalle right there. If I had any ice with me, I'd probably keep him, but Buddy will get to run free. I've been looking for a better fish all day, at least something that's not a tiny jack or a ladyfish, and we have found him. A beautiful pompano, man. Such a cool fish. Boom. Man, that just made my entire day. I've been fishing for a very long time, hoping to catch some good fish, and that was a pompano on a Ned rig on a Sakoshi bug. It's pretty damn cool if you ask me. All right, we're gonna keep throwing maybe for another 30 minutes or so if the fish are finally starting to cooperate, and then we're gonna have to call it a day. But I'm very thankful for that one.